Welcome back to the Garden with Joey and Holly radio show. Thank you for being part of the program today. Happy that you are with us. It's time for your garden questions and our garden answers. You got a question, send it on over. GardenTalkRadio@gmail.com. That's GardenTalkRadio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call toll-free, coast to coast, anytime to 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. If we can't get to you on the program, leave a message and we will call you back with the answer to your question. Let's see here. What are the best vegetables to grow in partial shade?
So there's a saying, if you grow it for the fruit or root, you need to have full sun. Anything else you can grow in partial shade. So you can grow greens, like spinach, lettuce, etc. You can grow, I'm blanking here, Joey.
You can grow radishes, spinaches,
yeah,
that type of thing.
The lettuces, bok choy, any sort of cabbage, broccoli. I think broccoli needs full sun, though.
Lettuce, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, beets, carrots, radishes, collard greens, mustard greens,
greens.
Peas, kohlrabi, arugula. You can grow green beans and tomatoes in partial shade. Partial shade meaning about minimum of 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours. If you're going to grow tomatoes, you want to go cherry tomatoes because it takes less energy to fulfill the requirements for that fruit. Green beans are going to be smaller. Anything you grow in shade, partial shade, minimum 6 hours, is going to be smaller in stature than if it was in full sun. It's not that these plants love partial shade. They're partial shade tolerant. So keep that in mind. There's a number of vegetables in which you can grow that will do relatively well in partial shade. You just need to be aware, one, will it work in your area? And what's the best situation that you can do? Because here's the other thing. You may think, oh, I'm in full sun now, but you forgot to look up and that tree now will be fully leaved in about 2 months, and you're going to have morning sun, evening sun, and afternoon shade. Oregano, parsley, a lot of the herbs in which you can grow in partial shade is very easy. Like you said, if you're going for the leaves, it can do very well. Multiple great charts online and listings in which you can sort through for your selection of vegetables that you can grow. Gardening for the first time in raised beds. Which material for a frame is better? Pros, cons. In my mind, I'm thinking metal frames may retain more heat and dry out quicker.
So for us, we use untreated lumber.
When we use treated lumber.
Treated lumber, sorry.
2x10s.
2x10s. That would be probably, if you're going to build a raised bed, would be ideal. Yeah,
you can go the route of durablegreenbeds.com. They have the way they manufacture their beds, they last 25 years plus. They're durable. They've got manufactured in the United States, and they're eco-friendly. That's durablegreenbeds.com is a way to go. You can go. You don't have to do a raised bed. You can just do straw bales.
Yeah, you could do straw bales. That's definitely another option. Or
logs.
You could do pop-up raised bed.
Pop-up raised bed.
Those are options. There's plenty of those as well. Sometimes you can even find them at a local garden center, big box store, etc.
You don't even have to have a framework around your bed. You can actually just mound the soil up.
Some people don't like that.
I understand that, but that is a very low cost. Yeah. Here's a 4x8 area. I'm just going to kind of mound the soil up.
Here's my opinion. If I didn't have a husband who was very handy, and I want to grow in a raised bed, I would get a pop-up raised bed.
Okay.
Or like a large grow bag, something like that, and I would have several of them. I feel like they're easy to maintain. I would, and not that a raised bed isn't, but that's my ideal setup, would be like a pop-up situation or some large containers, large grow bags, etc. I do like our raised beds, but they take some time to construct. If I wanted raised beds made out of wood, I probably would try to find somebody to build some for me. Sometimes you can find on like Facebook Marketplace, people will have these pre-made raised
Well, with
beds.
ours, the lumber was 16 foot long. We had to have it delivered.
Yeah.
And that was a fee in itself.
Right. So there are some. I mean, I like our raised beds.
It's an
but there are
investment.
there's an investment. There's some cons. There's some pros, obviously. But so just think about like what is my best advice is think about what you want to grow, what is accessible to you, etc. Best way to remove grass to put in a garden. My son wants to start a garden in his backyard, and we're thinking of in-ground rather than raised bed. Thank you.
Okay, so that's how we started. We started with in-ground. And all I did was
turn the
soil over. And didn't worry about the grass. Just took a shovel, a dirt shovel, and went down all the way, flipped it over, just like you were plowing the ground. So you don't have to necessarily remove. Now, there will be weeds, and by disturbing the soil, by flipping that soil over, you're going to expose those dormant seeds that can lay dormant for up to 80 years in some varieties. But that is kind of the payment for being a low cost. You're going to have to deal with weeds pretty regularly by flipping the soil over. Other people will take and remove that upper layer, that 2 or 3 inches of sod, and throw that in a pile and let that compost. But then the bad part about it, then you've got a lower spot in the garden or in the area that's 1 or 2 inches down because you've removed the sod. So just flip the soil over. Absolutely. If you did a soil test and everything looks good, make your permanent grow area and your designated walk paths and have at it, low cost, and away you go. You're going to have weeds, part of the deal. Use mulch, and that'll be fine. So you can do that. Weed barrier, we tried that. It doesn't work as well as you may think. So should I mulch on top of my drip lines or underneath?
You want to mulch on top. You would want to put your drip lines down, and then you put the mulch over the top. That's just what works best.
That's what works best,
Yeah.
But check with the manufacturer. Sometimes the manufacturer has different requirements in order for the operation of that irrigation system to work properly, to mulch on top or laid on top or put the mulch underneath it or on top. So looking for a cheaper way to make raised beds. The cost to start with purchasing metal raised beds are so expensive. Any idea would be appreciated. Do you use treated lumber? We spoke about that earlier. We use treated lumber. Now, we've taken an old wooden door and cut it in 8-inch widths and created a raised bed with that. Now, it lasted 2 seasons. It was an old wood door that was in the attic.
If you have
There's no wrong answer to this.
We also have used drawers.
Yeah.
We've used a lot of different things. We used some hard shell Gulf cover thing.
It's a travel bag it's a hard shell travel bag for your golf clubs. Yeah.
You can get really creative here. So, especially if you're new to gardening and you want to start small and you find like an old dresser on the side of the road and you want to utilize that for a raised bed, go for it.
Make sure it is solid wood and not the compressed composite.
The composite.
Because the composite, you look at it wrong and it explodes because of the moisture that it absorbs in it. What is your rabbit prevention methods?
We use a fence for a long time. We use a little 2-foot tall chicken wire fence.
Poultry fencing is also another name of the industry.
Yeah, that's probably the best way. Now we
have the raised beds, but we do put the fencing around it because the rabbits do jump up that 8 to 10 or that 10 inches and decide to sit in the raised bed and devour the plants. So we will get the bed prepped, we will get the bed planted, and then we will put 1 post in each corner and 1 post in the center on each side, and then wrap that chicken wire or poultry wire around it and make sure that it is fixed to where they can't get up underneath it, and that works really well.
I'm so used to having that fence there, I didn't even think about it, and it is around our raised beds. That's the best method for us. I know it's an investment. It can kind of be a pain to set up, but it's our most successful way.
It is amazing how quickly vegetables grow and produce when they're not getting ate down every evening by the rabbits.
I'm gonna say that you're gonna find all these answers like using hair, using marigolds. Rabbits eat the marigolds. There's spook them away, whatever, chase them down. get a farmer to come and shake something at them, whatever. But for us, it was using the physical barrier. And this seems to be a common thing for many pests in the garden. Many animals in the garden is using a physical barrier of some sort. And it works. And I would just continue to recommend it.
I'll keep it clean, but a rabbit that's not breathing won't come back, is what some people may believe, but other people
might
may
live in an area that you can't dispatch rabbits.
Do it at night.
Yeah.